Hey everybody, I hope you're having an awesome day. What I have here is the Razer Tron mouse, or the Tron gaming mouse designed by Razer, model number RZ01-0052, copyright Disney. So this is a promotional mouse that they were selling alongside the release of Tron Legacy. They were also selling a keyboard with a mouse pad. The unique feature of this mouse is that there's a little UV LED at the bottom that when you move around on the special mouse pad, it leaves behind a little glow-in-the-dark trail, which is kind of neat. Another thing that this mouse does, and I believe the keyboard did it as well, is that when you plug it in, it makes a high-tech science fiction-y Tron startup noise. That actually doesn't sound very good anymore, but that's what it does. So what's wrong with this mouse is that when you click, it actually double-clicks some of the time. So if you're trying to select a folder and you click on it, it actually might just open the folder instead. It happens often enough to be very annoying, and it makes gaming more or less impossible for a variety of reasons. So I've already opened this mouse up once before and fixed the button, so it's working right now, but I fixed it in a way that's probably not going to last very long because I damaged the switch. So we're going to open it back up, I'm going to fix it for real this time, and I'm going to show you how that's done. So the first thing that you got to do is flip it over and get to the screws. There's two screws underneath these two lower pads. There's nothing beneath these upper ones, so you don't need to worry about that. Just peel these off with your fingernail. There we go. There's two Phillips heads. Just take those out. There we go. And all we have to do at this point is just gently pry it up. And it's clipped or hooked on the front there, so slowly unhook it. There we go. That's all we need to do to get it open, and there is a small piece of plastic here on the mouse that's probably going to fall off the cable there, so remember to keep track of that. The next thing we have to pull out is this very, very tiny black screw on this board that is sort of inserted into the scroll wheel. So we've got to get that out of the way in order to remove the scroll wheel. Grab a very tiny Phillips head. It looks like this will be a 000. Okay. Keep really good track of that screw because it is very small. So we just pull this little board out of the way. Next we go back to our bigger Phillips bit. This is a number 1. We have 1, 2, 3 screws holding down this board. Number 1. There's 2. And 3. We have a small connector for the speaker, and a somewhat bigger connector from the cable for the USB. This whole board should lift out relatively easily. And just like so. The scroll wheel just falls out once it's off these plastic pegs. We see there's two LEDs here. This one is UV to make the mouse pad shiny, and this one is blue, maybe white. All that lights up is this little blue dot right here. It seems a little unnecessary to light up this little dot. I guess they want to give the illusion that the blue dot is lighting up the mouse pad, but really it's just this UV LED. Okay, so that's the main board. Let's take a closer look at that. We've got 4 buttons on the side, 2 for the left click and right click, and 1 for the scroll wheel, with the laser sensor on the bottom there. Now I'm going to show you how to replace these switches and talk about how I fixed it the first time. So if you're fixing this yourself, the first thing you need to try is to just clean it up. There's always going to be a bunch of hand gunk and hair in here. So I lightly brush off the board with rubbing alcohol and a soft toothbrush. And then I clean the inside of the bad switch here. I sprayed it with electric contact cleaner. Then there's 2 little plastic tabs on the side of the switch. So if you're very careful with a nice flathead, skinny, precision screwdriver, you can actually disassemble the switch itself. For me, the little clips were on the skinny side. Let's see here. The model number is Omron D2FC-F-7N. I think the C is for made in China. So let's pry that off. Try to be really careful with it. So the inside of the switch is this tan piece of metal, held in tension between 2 little brass colored pegs. It's shaped like the top of a soda can, but it's a lot smaller. When you press it, this little arm moves between 2 contacts on the top and bottom, just like this. So if you want to fix this without replacing the switch, then be very careful and pull that plastic shell off the top. By careful, I mean that there's this tiny bit of plastic that you might lose. So here's the black top, and you see that the white piece is the physical button that you press on. It goes in that hole. So you need to keep these together and make sure you get that back in place when you're reassembling it. So what I did the first time is I sprayed off the whole inner assembly with electronic cleaner. This guy. I just wanted to make sure that I got any corrosion or gunk off of that contact. And so, since I'm super smart, I decided to remove this whole metal lever here and clean the contact itself on both sides. Rub it with a bit of paper and electronic cleaner. So I pulled this metal off of these little pegs, just with a little pair of tweezers. I unhooked it. There we go. It ended up being a huge pain to put back on. So don't be smart like me and remove it. When I was trying to put it back on, the back of the piece here, I broke. Just split in half. So I soldered it back together, which is holding for now. But since this is a bendy, springy bit, that solder probably isn't going to last for very long. So I'm just going to replace the whole switch. But cleaning it worked had I not broken that off. Okay, great. So I've got 2 new switches here. I got these off Amazon. It was $5 for the pair, which is overpriced. To order them from China, it would have been about $12 for 100 switches, but these are the made in Japan version, which are hopefully better quality. We can check that. The new one feels a little more clicky, which is preferable to me at least. So an interesting thing about the new switches is that the little clips are on the long side instead of on the short side. So they are built a little bit differently. The model number is D2F-F, which has an operating force of 0.74 newtons, the same as the old one. The new switches are technically single pull double throw, while the old switches were single pull single throw, but they both should work the same in this mouse. So now I'm going to open up the new switch to see if they are built similarly. There we go. Just need a sharp knife. Okay. So interesting. These actually are built a bit differently. So it's a similar metal piece in tension, but the little springy bit here is on top instead of on the bottom. So the old one was arranged like this, with the springy bit on the bottom and a single little contact here. These old pegs are a stamped piece of something that looks like brass. So in the new one, the pegs are this sort of silver color. The springy bit is on top here. And if you look at how that contact is, there's a whole lot more to it. The contact is a lot beefier, and there's contacts on both sides of the lever, not just on the bottom there. That's your double throw in a single pull double throw switch. Yeah, this looks like a better built switch than the other one. I like that there's a lot more meat to that connection. It's probably not going to go bad, or if it does, hopefully it takes a lot longer than the 10 years that it took the other one to have problems. Yeah, so there you go. A differently designed part coming out of Omron, Japan. So let's reassemble this switch. Got to make sure that that button is lined up over the flat part of the lever that it needs to press onto. Okay. Now it's time to change out these switches. So all we need to do is desolder the old ones, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and solder the new ones on. And this should just be a perfect fit. You know, I think desoldering might just be my least favorite thing in the world. Alright, there's one. Finally got it out of there. I need better tools. Please send better desoldering tools to the official Sparkio PO box in the video description. I'm just sitting here asking myself, why did I put this back on after I took it off the first time around? Okay, I finally got them both off. So if you look here, the board shows where to orient the button on the switch on either side. They're toward the outside here. So now we put on the new switches, and as always, it's a lot easier to put them on than to take them off. First, make sure the holes are clear. Okay, snapped one on. Snapped both on. Make sure they're lined up flush to the board. Now we'll just solder them into place. Make sure to keep them steady and firm on the board. We don't want any wiggle in them. I'm just heating the joints up and applying a bit of pressure to make sure they're all the way flat. Okay, good enough. I'm just going to clean the flux off the board a little bit with some rubbing alcohol and a toothbrush. Just like that. That ought to do it, and it will dry as I'm putting the mouse back together. Okay, so reassembly is just going to be the reverse of assembly. The first thing you're going to want to do is put this mouse wheel back in. Sort of hold that in place. Next, before we put in the board, let's get that speaker plugged in. There we go. Make sure you've got the right side up. It's hard to see, but it's keyed. The black wire goes on the left and the red is on the right. We need to slide the board into place. Be sure to get the LED in its little channel. The two plastic supports poke right through the board, and the mouse wheel sits right on them. Next, we just need to get these 3 screw pegs lined up. They slide perfectly into the little holes drilled through the circuit board. Let's put these 3 screws back on. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let's plug the USB connector back in. Make sure this USB cable is underneath this plastic clippy here, or it'll get in the way, which could stop the mouse from clicking properly. Then this tiny little board goes into the mouse wheel. There's 2 blue pegs and the very tiny black screw. Be sure you don't over tighten it. The plastic it screws into can't handle much torque at all. Alright, now put this cable holder back on with the round side toward the cable. Slide that into place. This whole top piece is 2 sort of clips here that you need to wedge on and rotate it so it snaps in. They just hook into place. Wiggle it a bit and it should come back together. And then you have 2 screws in the bottom and that's it. 1 and 2. Okay, now that it's all back together, make sure you've still got the little plastic piece in on the cord. Give some clicks to make sure everything is tucked in place and feeling good. Then we'll put the sliders back on the bottom. 1 and 2. There we go. Let's plug it back in and make sure everything turns on. Okay. So hook it into your computer and give it a test. It looks like everything is working and looking good. That's all there is to this one. I hope you enjoyed it, or at least learned something. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.